Though detectives investigating historical sexual abuse in Rotherham say it was even more widespread than they first thought. 4 years ago, a report into abuse in the town found at least 1,400 children have been subjected to appalling sexual exploitation between 1997 and 2013. Now, the National Crime Agency says that figure could be more than 1,500. Tom Ingle has the details.
Sammy Woodhouse, a survivor of abuse who has waived her right to anonymity to turn campaigner. The men who tormented her as a child are now in prison. There were thought to be 1,400 people in Rotherham who shared her experience. Now it seems that number was an underestimate.
There's a lot more awareness now. I think the fact that we've been getting some big convictions out of Rotherham, I think that's sending out a clear message. And I think that there's started to be a sense of, well, actually, we're going to be listened to now. Because it's a big investigation, so as they go on with that investigation, more information will come to light and people can contact us.
The scale of Operation Stovewood is clear from its Sheffield incident room. It is the single largest investigation into child sexual exploitation in the country. Run by the National Crime Agency, it has 144 staff. Expected to last until at least 2020, its senior officer says he needs yet more resource.
We have seen one-on-one allegations, as you refer to, and it's important to stress that in the early stages of our investigations, we had a very much smaller team. So we were able to progress those inquiries at the time, but what we are now seeing is that as my team has grown to 144 officers, and we have plans to grow even further, we are very much focused on identifying group-based offending by networks of offenders.
Recently, we reported on the end of one trial to result from Operation Stovewood. As teenagers, these men abused a 12-year-old girl. Among the current 110 suspects, 80% are of Pakistani heritage. Of those who have come forward alleging abuse, 90% are white women who were aged between 11 and 18.
There are a number of individuals who've got care histories who might have been in the same care home at the same time. There are a number of individuals who knew each other through schools and may have then been going to meet individuals with friends of theirs. So you might see those patterns emerging.
The NCA expect 6 more trials to follow before the end of this year. As they gather pace, their intent is to keep those abused at the heart of their work. Tom Ingle, BBC Look North, Rotherham.
Well, joining me now is David Greenwood, a solicitor who's been representing victims of child sex abuse in Rotherham. Good evening, David. Are you surprised by today's revelation that there are more victims than we first thought?
No, it doesn't surprise me. Professor Jay, back in 2014, did a really methodical calculation of the figures based on evidence. Since then, I think it's emerged that there was some trafficking of girls from outside Rotherham into Rotherham to meet these gangs. So that might cause the reason for this 1,500 figure that we're now seeing.
David, your firm acts on behalf of 80 girls, but you believe there's still many more who haven't come forward. Will today's revelation, will that encourage, you think, more girls, young women to come forward?
Well, I think the professionalism of the National Crime Agency, and indeed the professionalism of some of the South Yorkshire officers in the first set of prosecutions, should encourage some girls to come forward. But this is a very painful experience to go through. Most of these girls will be in their 20s and early 30s. They don't want to look back on this period of their lives and share it with others. They want to put it behind them mostly, even though it might be causing them some psychological problems even now.
Do they get support for that? Are they being given enough support by local services?
Well, it's certainly fair to say that if they go to the police and speak to them and speak to possibly the local authority, then provision can be provided during the course of the case. But I am concerned that long-term support isn't being provided and there isn't the outreach from services that should be providing the support for these girls.
Briefly, David, would you say this is the tip of the iceberg, this number?
Certainly for Rotherham, I think there's been a good calculation done, but this is happening in towns and cities all over the country.
David Greenwood, thank you for joining us.